Next on Up with KREM, Washington's GDP could get a big boost from the World Cup games. How much experts are forecasting the region will bring in.
Compared to yesterday, today is going to be even sunnier and even warmer. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
Plus, have you heard of loaded water? Why adding flavors and vitamins to water is trending right now, and what health experts have to say about it.
Up with KREM begins now.
Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday. Thanks for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham. Let's start off your Sunday by getting over to Nicole Hernandez to talk about our Sunday forecast and looking ahead to the week ahead. Nicole, loaded water. I'm looking forward to hearing about that story. Always a good time to hydrate, but especially when it's nice out like this. Definitely going to want to hydrate while you get outside.
You know what's crazy to me always is how 50 degrees can feel so warm, but also so cold on the back end of summer.
100%.
Crazy. But the good news is we're in the warm part of the year, right? We're going to hit that 50-degree point likely today. And because of that, with the sunshine in particular, it is going to feel incredible. So load up on whatever water it is you like to have, because you're definitely going to want it if you're doing any sort of physical activity outside. Whatever clouds we were dealing with yesterday or into the evening yesterday are going to be clearing their way out as the day continues. And we are going to have a perfectly sunny afternoon. Again, that high temperature, even warmer than we saw yesterday. So however you felt yesterday, pop it up just a little bit of a notch, because we're going to have a little bit more sun and we're going to be a tad warmer as well. We stick pretty clear into the evening as well. And for the next few days, Monday also sunny. Tuesday, we start to see some cloud cover come in ahead of rain on Wednesday, but it's not until Wednesday that we see the next chance for rain. We'll talk more in depth about that coming up.
All right, it's time for your weekend What's Up. It's the last day of the weekend, so make the most of it with some of these local events. Learn what Spokane was like in the 1800s at the History of Spokane in the Pioneer Era. That's at the Corbin Art Center at 1:30 p.m. Registration is $20, and they're providing coffee, spiced tea, and cookies. Discover the art of Italian winemaking and cuisine at a wine pairing dinner with winemaker Antonio Sanguinetti. Enjoy a multi-course Italian dinner and learn the origins and tasting notes of some of the wines. You will also get to go home with all of the recipes so you can recreate the night. That's at the Kitchen Engine at 4 p.m. Tickets are $125. The World Ballet Company is performing Cinderella at the First Interstate Center tonight at 6 p.m. They say it will be an unforgettable journey of magic, beauty, and the promise of happily ever after. Tickets start at $61. Local composer Janice Mayfield is premiering her For Anne in the Attic choir performance today. It compares the world Anne Frank lived in to what we are seeing today. That's at the Unity Spiritual Center at 10 a.m. This morning, we are less than 4 months away from the World Cup coming to Washington State this summer. And if you can't make the trip to Seattle to catch the game, don't worry, you won't have to go far. The official fan zones have been announced, and here in Spokane, our fan zone is happening at the Gisa Pavilion at Riverfront Park. Spokane Sports says the city is honored to host a fan zone. There are other locations across the state open to fans as well. Experts say the economic impact could be huge. They predict $260 million in total economic output, which would add $138 million in value to the local GDP. Another big number, experts predict 23,000 people will stay in Airbnbs. Well, you may have seen the trend online, water with protein, water with caffeine, water with vitamins, and that's only the beginning. Here's a look at the loaded water trend and what dietitians say about staying hydrated.
Water used to be simple. Now, not so much.
This is a collagen glow powder.
This is loaded water. It's a trend where you take water and add flavors, supplements, just about anything you can imagine.
This is a loaded water that's packed with vitamin C, vitamin B12, B6, and vitamin D.
Millions watch influencers promote recipes or prepackaged loaded water products on TikTok.
Tropical cherry cotton candy.
The goal is to make water tastier and healthier. And some consumers think that's not a bad idea.
I think the intent is to try to get people to drink more water, which is essentially good for you, right? So if there's a way to convince people to do that, so be it.
Dietitian and nutritionist Rebecca Blake says more hydration is a good thing.
Hydration is our body's natural way of detoxifying itself, right? That's actually how we keep our system running clean.
But what about all those extras?
Do we need alkaline, protein, caffeine in our water?
Not really. Not generally, no. I always ask, who's benefiting from this? Is it the person that's drinking the water, or is it more the corporations that are selling the products that we're adding to the water?
It's not necessarily harmful, experts say, but it's not necessarily necessary either. For some, good old-fashioned water didn't need fixing in the first place.
Filtered water from the fridge seems just fine to me.
If you do want to give loaded water a try, there's a healthy DIY approach.
So if you think you're not drinking enough water, and you think that adding a slice of orange or lemon or a few strawberries or some muddled mint into your water, I'd say go for it.
Some simple advice that's as clear as day. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
You might still be waking up this morning and water, loaded or not, isn't going to cut it. Well, good news. Today is National Barista Day. Wake Up Call Coffee is marking the occasion by matching all tips customers leave at its locations. Those tips go straight to baristas. Customers who tip today at the company's 32 locations across eastern Washington and North Idaho will see Wake Up Call match those tips dollar for dollar. Coming up, we have one more weekend event to tell you about. It's the Spokane Home and Yard Show. What's new this year? After the break. Plus, Restaurant Week is going on right now. We are talking to one of the restaurants taking part.
All right, that warmer weather is on the way, so if you need some inspiration, this is the place you got to come down to, the Spokane Home and Yard Show, running through the weekend, and
Yes.
It's a special place to be with some special people involved as well. Cheryl, phenomenal. I mean, when you look around this place,
Thank
you're
you
just
so
completely
much.
blown away. How are you doing?
Good. We like to say not all home shows are created equal. We
Yeah.
do this once a year. It's the only 4-day show. It's the region's largest home show in the area. We've got 4 huge buildings filled wall to wall with hundreds of home improvement products and services. We've been touching on all the featured landscapes. We're known for that. So you're going to come in, you're going to see the waterfalls and the concrete tumblers and burbling water. But we also have everything you need for inside your home as well. Art of Drawers is a new company with us. We're excited to have folks come and see what they can do. They'll take your existing cabinets. You're not going to have to do an entire kitchen demolition. And they'll take your existing cabinets but make them much more functional, the Art of Drawers. So we're really thrilled to have them here.
Well,
we
no,
like
it's
to
really
highlight
beautiful.
things that people haven't seen in the community yet.
I need something like this for sure, absolutely.
Me too.
And then, well, it is really cool because you mentioned the landscaping. You've got all the grass, even putting greens that people will set
Right.
up. And what's really cool too about this is that you can feel how special it is. The businesses, they feel like they're happy and proud to be a part of
This
this
is
as
all
well.
one-to-one, face-to-face networking. And if you're about to do a project, trust me, you want to be able to talk to the people that are representing the company or that own the company before you decide to do business with them. So this is really your best chance for that face-to-face interaction. Get a feel. We say we're saving you from driving all over town. You can shop and compare in one location. And most of these companies are offering exclusive only show deals and specials. And that's why you would come down for the weekend. Even if you're not sure, you're planning even 6 months, a year from now, this is the right time to get going on what you think you want to have coming up for your spring project.
Just as you said, the right time to get going, and I think you can find some type of inspiration or at least find someone that you can work with as well to improve your house, give you those
Right,
dreams.
it's your biggest investment, right? You got to take care of it. So it could be as mundane as like, oh gosh, I need to fix this deck. I've got a few planks that aren't working out for me. To, hey, I want to be more creative and I love my kitchen, but I hate how it's organized.
Yeah. I can relate to that as
Me
well,
too.
So again, this is a great place for you to be. Cheryl, we want to say thank you.
Hey,
We
thank you
appreciate
so much. Look forward to seeing everybody.
Spokane Home and Yard Show 2026. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Well, we are warmer than average this weekend and stay warmer than average for the rest of the week as well. I have your full forecast coming up. Well, if you liked yesterday, today is going to be even better. We are going to have more sunshine. We're going to have warmer temperatures, and we are going to stay dry, not just today, but for the next few days as well. So if you were hoping for more winter weather, this is not your weekend, right? Yesterday was beautiful. We had some cloud cover, but a lot of sunshine, and today even more sunshine than those clouds. High temperatures today, also even warmer. Remember yesterday, a lot of people were teetering on the edge of that 50-degree point. Well, today, most people hitting the 50-degree point. Here in Spokane, the potential for 51, Coeur d'Alene 52, Ritzville, Moses Lake up into the mid-50s as well. It is going to be warm, but like we keep saying, this has kind of been the name of the game for this winter, right? We've just been warm. The good news is a lot of times when we've been warm previously, it's been hard to get the sunshine. And so this time we get the sunshine as well, which is beautiful. It feels incredible. Very much above average right now, 43, that average high temperature. Instead, we're hitting the 50s, so almost 10 degrees above average. We are now getting closer to March, which is getting closer to meteorological spring. And so we are going to start warming up as we get closer and closer to spring and then into summer. But either way, we are still technically in winter right now. And so we are still supposed to be cold, even though today won't necessarily feel that way. We are dry. We don't really have any moisture in our area right now. You can see this is by Sunday at 9, completely nothing happening, but our rain chances do return later this week. We stick dry for a couple of days. Tomorrow also going to be nice and sunny. By Tuesday, we have some cloud cover building in ahead of a system that's going to make its way in for rain on Wednesday. That sticks around, and we might have a chance here or there on Thursday, but for the most part, the bulk of that should be falling on Wednesday. It's still a ways out, so we don't know exactly when it's going to hit, but we will know a little bit more as it gets closer. Either way, this is the storm system that's moving its way in. By Tuesday, you can see it starting to move in, and then by Wednesday, totally covering the inland northwest. Basically looks like everyone at least gets a chance for some rain, but note, it's rain, it's not snow. That's because we are so warm. Again, more moisture falling as rain instead of snow in the middle of winter. It's what we've been saying basically all winter long. Next week, the warm temperatures stick around. You can see red is indicative of a more intense warm. It's not just for the inland northwest, it's for the entire country. That is for next week, and all of us are going to stick with those warm temperatures except for Maine.
It's my favorite week of the year. Inlanders Restaurant Week kicks off today, and we're very excited because we have one of my favorite restaurants in studio, Durkin's in studio. Deb and Ryan, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Okay, so first off, we got to get right to it. What is a look at your menu for this year's Restaurant Week?
Well, I'll let Ryan describe the first and second
And
courses.
Ryan, you're the head chef.
Yeah.
Oh, he knows his stuff.
Yeah. So right here we have the burrata. It's just a classic burrata with olive tapenade and chili flake, and then just some grilled sourdough baguette. And then here we have just braised lentils with a pan-seared halibut, and then a roasted and marinated tomato.
Amazing.
Oh, so good. And Deb, you were telling me you guys have been doing this for a long time, right?
A long time. We started, we actually participated in the first year of Restaurant Week with our restaurant Casper Fry. And then Durkin's opened in November of 2014, and our first year to participate in Restaurant Week was 2015.
Oh, wow.
And this is a great way to get new customers to try Durkin's or any restaurant around town. What are some of the reasons why you continue to participate in Restaurant Week?
Well, it does bring in new guests,
Does it?
and we appreciate that. It's an opportunity to showcase what our chefs can do, and it's an opportunity for us to come up with a menu that's a little bit out of the ordinary for us,
Sure.
and do a few different items.
That's cool. And yeah, what were you going to say?
I was going to say Durkin's is obviously a bit of an icon for downtown Spokane, but for people who have not been, what can they expect either from your food and your ambiance?
You know, the full name is Durkin's Liquor Bar. So first off, you can expect a really nice classic cocktail.
So good. My favorites.
And then during Restaurant Week, we've got these 9 courses that we're offering, but at the same time, we're offering our regular menu, so you can come in and get that burger if you want. But during Restaurant Week, we really recommend that you try something different and order off the Restaurant Week menu.
Totally, because it's a time that it might not be on the menu later, but it's also about going back and supporting local after Restaurant Week.
Very much.
Do folks need to make a reservation and tell folks what price point you are at?
Yes, we do recommend that everybody make a reservation. We do our reservations through a phone call. It will save you a seat. We did purposely build a restaurant that looks like a diner, so seating is limited. But if they give us a call, we'll make a reservation for them. And we are at the top tier of the price, $45 for a 3-course meal.
And real quick from head chef, do you have a favorite on the menu?
I think the pork belly is gonna be really good.
Oh, that's the one that
tried
made
it
my stomach
yesterday.
growl.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really nice.
And real quick, also, we didn't talk about the desserts.
Oh
What
yeah,
are these?
come on, let's talk
Right,
about
our
these.
pastry chef Kelly from Madeline's does our desserts for us. So we'll be offering 3 desserts. Vanilla bean panna cotta. I did not bring that one today. This is her tres leches cake. So that is a sponge marinated in 3 different milks. And this is a classic peanut butter pie, a chocolate cookie crust,
How do you
peanut butter
choose
mousse.
one? You only get to pick one.
Well, bring a friend and then share everything.
That is the pro tip.
People do that. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I do restaurant week, I go with a friend and then we order different things.
Order different
sample
things.
it all.
Absolutely.
All right, Deb, Brian, thanks so much for being here this morning. Restaurant Week happening now for the next week or so. Be sure to check out the menus online, $25, $35, and $45, and support local. Coming up, it's the update you've been waiting for. KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez and Jeremy Legou are still fixing up that old news van. See their progress after the break.
Where are we heading?
We're removing the mask today! Oh, nailed it. First try every time.
Nikolai, how does this work?
We're going to attach the orange thing to the mast, and theoretically it will lift out.
We have these bolts that are all the way around the circumference of the mast that we're going to have to take out. And it's all watertight, so we're going to have to cut all that sealant off. And then we're just going to grab it by the base of it, pull it straight up.
Send it.
That feels way easier than it should have been.
I told you 20 minutes. Remember when I said that?
And look at that.
20 minutes drive, and I'm going forward.
Alright, we'll vacate the area too.
That's insane.
We were pulling in for our first tank of gas. Now is the big test. Is this thing affordable to drive down the road?
That didn't go very well.
Well, a couple of things. One, we are getting a whopping 5.4 miles per gallon right now. Minor concern. A much bigger concern is the fact that it just took me 15 minutes to get it started in the gas station parking lot. So, the bigger question is, do we turn and go for home? Back to safety. Try to figure this all out? Or do we go for the other 2 hours of our drive that we still haven't done yet? We're going for it.
Jeremy had to jump out of the car for an errand, and now I'm in charge of making sure none of the gauges go crazy. And if they do, I have to turn off the car. It started beeping. Help. Here we go again. There we go. We did make it back home yesterday. Barely. Now Jeremy's in his favorite spot.
I'm changing the fuel filter. Our fuel filter was pumping out fuel that looked like this. If all goes well, this bad boy is gonna fire right up. pure power.
That's insane.
Still ahead on Up with KREM, we are taking you to Leavenworth, some history about the iconic town you might not have known about.
There are people that have had a lot of life change with kratom.
Ahead on Up with KREM, Spokane's debate over kratom continues. Some say it's life-threatening, while others say it's life-changing. We'll break down both sides. Spring is just weeks away, and seasonal allergies could catch people off guard. What to do so you aren't sneezing and sniffling. Plus, with spring almost here, local golf courses are teeing up. We'll tell you which courses are opening up tomorrow.
Up with KREM begins now.
Good Sunday morning, everyone. Thanks for staying with us here on Up with KREM on KREM 2 Plus. I'm Tim Pham. Let's get over to Nicole Hernandez in the Weather Center tracking today's forecast. Nicole, I was just thinking it's too bad golf courses weren't opening today, because today would be a great day to go golfing, but tomorrow won't be too bad.
No, seriously, I've been talking to a few friends who do golf quite often through the summer, and some just haven't stopped going. Obviously, some courses closed, but others try to stay open here and there through the winter, and when they have been, which is decently often because of our weather, people have been going. It feels like spring, though. I was actually laughing about Tim mentioning spring twice in our headlines there, because it feels like it already, even though it's technically not. Our meteorologist, though, would tell you that meteorological spring starts on March 1st. So meteorologically, we're super close to it technically being spring. As for how we do it on the calendar, we're not close, right? We've still got like a few weeks. It is super sunny, though. If you liked yesterday, the sunshine and the warmth, it's going to be even more today. We're going to be up in the 50s here in Spokane, and it's going to feel good. It's going to be nice and warm with that sun shining. That 50-degree point is going to feel beautiful. So definitely enjoy it. It's a beautiful day for a walk or some sort of outside activity. Across the region, this is the Saturday highs. Sorry about that, but either way, a few degrees warmer than what's on this map here.
We're learning more about Mayor Lisa Brown's emergency ordinance that would prevent private properties in Spokane from being immigration detention centers. The mayor introduced it last week. Right now, city law allows detention facilities in certain zones like apartment, commercial, and industrial areas, so long as the contractor gets special permission. This ordinance would disallow that. The ordinance says detention facilities do not align with the city's goals of building more housing and attracting businesses. This ordinance also would align more with state law, which prohibits private detention centers in Washington state. The council did not vote on the proposal. If the ordinance does make it to a vote and is passed, it would take effect immediately and stay in place for at least 1 year.
I'm glad that we can find some funds to try to pay to help what's happening to people in our community, to right a wrong.
A hot button issue from this week's meeting was allocating $100,000 to the Spokane Immigrant Rights Coalition's Community Justice Fund. The money would go towards housing, health care, or transportation for families who are impacted by immigration enforcement. The council voted in favor of the funding 6-1. Councilmember Michael Cathcart was the only one voting against it. He says more should be done to decide where the money is going. Meanwhile, the council is also considering a ban on kratom. The Panhandle Health District says it's addictive and has risk for overdose. PhD officials say kratom, and more specifically 7-OH active components in the drug, is a growing problem across North Idaho and the country. One woman says, though, this announcement is unfair to kratom users, and the drug has helped her deal with her ADD.
There are people that have had a lot of life change with kratom, that have been in constant pain or dealing with other things like that, and kratom has really helped them. But unfortunately, it's kind of getting swept in the same category as 7-OH, and there needs to be a clear line and distinction between the two.
The official start of spring is still about 3 weeks away, but for 1 in 4 U.S. adults and nearly 1 in 5 children who suffer from seasonal allergies, now is the time to prepare. Here are some expert tips.
It's almost that time of year again. The flowers, the sun, the pollen ready to pounce.
And you definitely don't want to wait for the onset of symptoms.
Dr. Rohit Katyal with National Jewish Health says if you suffer from seasonal allergies, now is the time to get ready before spring has sprung and symptoms are triggered so the reaction isn't as extreme.
And in most places in the United States, the trees go first. So those who are tree allergic, they're going to feel the most symptoms here early in the season.
To prevent severe allergy symptoms, Katyal says to go ahead and start using steroid nasal sprays, which can help reduce inflammation, swelling, and mucus in the nose. He says most should be sprayed once a day before and throughout the season.
That's a great one to start, but that can't be used as needed. Once somebody begins those nasal steroid sprays, they should be used daily.
Katyal says to take daily oral antihistamine medication as needed. If your allergies tend to start earlier, he says it's okay to take the pills in advance. But if your spring symptoms are late bloomers, like if you have grass allergies, consider starting the pills closer to grass season around late April.
If you tend to have really severe eye symptoms where you really have a lot of daily itch, then the eye drops are also a nice addition to the regimen.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Happening this week, Inlander Restaurant Week continues. You've got almost a week left to try a new restaurant or revisit a favorite. More than 100 restaurants are participating this year. There are meal options for $25, $35, or $45. 2 golf courses in Spokane are opening their doors for the 2026 season tomorrow. Both the Creek at Qualchin Golf Course and the Esmeralda Golf Course are opening on March 2nd tomorrow. Golfers can book tee times online on the City of Spokane's website. Next on Up with KREM, we're taking the back roads to Leavenworth. Did you know that the idea for the Bavarian-themed town came from a World War II vet? That and more trivia in just a few minutes. Well, you might stay in a hotel for convenience, for fun, or for the amenities. But now people are staying in hotel rooms to shop. Later, we'll tell you about the hotel showrooms trend. Known for its Bavarian style, Leavenworth did not always look this way. John Bartel takes us there this morning for a little history lesson.
There's a place in the Cascades of Washington that looks, feels, and sounds like the Swiss Alps. That place is called Leavenworth, a Bavarian-themed town with a Pacific Northwest hospitality.
So what's that little door at the top up there?
I'm glad you asked about that. That's actually where our Glockenspiel is. Does your hometown have a Glockenspiel?
I have no idea what a Glockenspiel is.
Okay.
If you're wondering what a Glockenspiel is and why this little Washington mountain town is covered in Bavarian facade, hitch a ride with the Leavenworth Carriage Company and talk with historian Ann Peavy.
Were these people Bavarian or I mean, I guess are we
There was nothing Bavarian about them, believe it or not. They were just, homesteaders.
Ann says in the late 1800s, Leavenworth was a major locomotive hub, moving cargo up and over the mountains. But when the railroad relocated in the 1920s, so did many of the people.
So Leavenworth's population went from close to 5,000 people in the early 1920s down to about 900 people.
For decades, Leavenworth struggled and many businesses closed. But then in the 1950s, 2 entrepreneurs, Bob Rogers and Ted Price, came up with an idea.
Bob Rogers, part of that partnership, he saw the area as having a backdrop that reminded him of Bavaria when he was there in World War II.
Bob and Ted started with a Bavarian-style restaurant and eventually talked the entire town into a major remodel. Storefronts added Tudor-style trim, colorful murals, and a giant maypole.
Starting from the bottom and working its way up, you can see a little bit of this little town's history from the railroad and the timber industry all the way to the change to turn into a Bavarian village toward the top.
To this day, Leavenworth residents like Janet Mano still embrace the Bavarian facade and share the adopted culture with visitors.
And it's the herdsman's horn. So in the mid-1700s, in fact, there was a decree in Switzerland that every herdsman should play the Alp horn because it increased milk production. Good for the motherland.
While in Leavenworth, it's also worth stopping by the Nutcracker Museum to see the world's largest collection of nutcrackers. It's also worth visiting the Leavenworth Reindeer Farm to feed Santa's helpers. Oh, and I almost forgot. At the end of the tour, Ann told me what a glockenspiel is.
Glockenspiel. That's a German word for a specific type of a clock that's very common in Germany. At the top of each hour, the clock chimes, the doors open, and wooden figurines come out and dance to recorded accordion music.
Riding the streets of Leavenworth, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
Coming up, we have one more delicious restaurant to introduce you to. Stay tuned to see what Das Steinhaus is serving for the Inlanders Restaurant Week.
Well, if you liked yesterday, today is going to be even better. We are going to have more sunshine. We're going to have warmer temperatures, and we are going to stay dry, not just today, but for the next few days as well. So if you were hoping for more winter weather, this is not your weekend, right? Yesterday was beautiful. We had some cloud cover, but a lot of sunshine, and today even more sunshine than those clouds. High temperatures today, also even warmer. Remember yesterday, a lot of people were teetering on the edge of that 50-degree point. Well, today, most people hitting the 50-degree point. Here in Spokane, the potential for 51, Coeur d'Alene 52, Ritzville, Moses Lake up into the mid-50s as well. It is going to be warm, but like we keep saying, this has kind of been the name of the game for this winter, right? We've just been warm. The good news is a lot of times when we've been warm previously, it's been hard to get the sunshine. And so this time we get the sunshine as well, which is beautiful. It feels incredible. Very much above average right now, 43, that average high temperature. Instead, we're hitting the 50s, so almost 10 degrees above average. We are now getting closer to March, which is getting closer to meteorological spring. And so we are going to start warming up as we get closer and closer to spring and then into summer. But either way, we are still technically in winter right now. And so we are still supposed to be cold, even though today won't necessarily feel that way. We are dry. We don't really have any moisture in our area right now. You can see this is by Sunday at 9, completely nothing happening, but our rain chances do return later this week. We stick dry for a couple of days. Tomorrow also going to be nice and sunny. By Tuesday, we have some cloud cover building in ahead of a system that's going to make its way in for rain on Wednesday. That sticks around, and we might have a chance here or there on Thursday, but for the most part, the bulk of that should be falling on Wednesday. It's still a ways out, so we don't know exactly when it's going to hit, but we will know a little bit more as it gets closer. Either way, this is the storm system that's moving its way in. By Tuesday, you can see it starting to move in, and then by Wednesday, totally covering the inland northwest. Basically looks like everyone at least gets a chance for some rain, but note, it's rain, it's not snow. That's because we are so warm. Again, more moisture falling as rain instead of snow in the middle of winter. It's what we've been saying basically all winter long. Next week, the warm temperatures stick around. You can see red is indicative of a more intense warm. It's not just for the inland northwest, it's for the entire country. That is for next week, and all of us are going to stick with those warm temperatures except for Maine.
Restaurant Week is underway right now, and it is very exciting because there's a lot of great places that you can try out and eat, including Das Steinhaus.
Yep.
And we have two very special guests with us here this morning.
Okay, so we have George and Trevor. George is the owner.
Hello.
Trevor's head cook. So first, can you guys give us a breakdown of what your menu looks like this year?
Well, let's start with the schnitzel cordon bleu.
Oh, the way you say
it. It's probably
This
better
one?
when I say pork cordon bleu.
Yum.
We hand cut this meat, then we stuff it with ham, prosciutto ham,
Oh.
small
It
Gouda.
smells amazing.
And we serve it with our homemade pasta, which is called Spätzle. We made by
Yum.
hand, German sauerkraut.
Yeah, and
it's-
homemade gravy.
And homemade gravy.
What, if for folks who don't know, what kind of food do y'all serve? I think it's pretty obvious now that we've given a little bit of a hint. Tell us
German food, yeah.
German food.
Traditional German
You immigrated
food.
from Germany, right?
Yes, I did 38 years ago.
And are these traditional recipes to your family?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Back to the
What's
menu.
next?
What
What's
else do we
next?
have on the menu?
We basically have all kinds of food, not just
Yeah.
German. And then Trevor is going to explain what else we
All
got
right,
on
Trevor,
there.
what else do we have here?
This is one of our desserts here. It's a German chocolate cake shot. It has vodka.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock, right? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, this
it's
guy's
5
ready.
a.m. 6
It's
a.m.
got
but
vodka, a hazelnut liqueur, coconut rum, and then it's got a rim of chocolate and coconut.
I know who wants that. We're going to give that to Thomas
No,
Patrick.
literally,
It's his last
he'd be
day.
so stoked.
And then here we have our homemade rouladen. It's a
Yum.
beef top round,
Oh my
thinly
goodness.
sliced, and then it's got rolled with bacon, mustard, pickles, onions. You know, slowly cooked till it's real tender, and it's got a signature sauce on there, and some mashed potatoes, and a homemade red cabbage.
So for folks who don't know, at Restaurant Week, there's either a $25, a $35, or $45 menu. What price point are you guys at?
$35.
You're $35.
And where are you located?
We are located at 1812 West Francis Avenue.
Okay.
Right in the 5-mall shopping mall.
Great.
How much does it mean to
Yeah.
you guys to be a part of Restaurant Week every year?
Well, it means a lot to us. It's very, very, very successful, and we get a
brings in
lot of
new
new
customer-
people.
yeah, brings in new
customer
customers.
in.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
got a lot of new people, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, we get to do something special, a little different
Totally.
too. So,
And Trevor, did we talk about what's on the end there?
my buddy will tell you that.
Okay.
It's a funny word.
It's a
one.
funny word. It's called Schweinige Schnitzeltest.
I'll let you,
Only that short.
thank you for saying it, not us.
It's basically cut it out of the pork tenderloin julienne, similar to a stroganoff.
Oh,
and you got the homemade gravy on it with our homemade
Yeah,
pasta.
it's got some
again.
mushrooms in there too.
I love a good
Quickly
mushroom.
tell us what's on the end there.
That's called an onion pie.
Onion pie.
It's not a quiche, it's not a pizza, but it's in between.
Okay.
It's made with cream fraiche, onions, bacon bits, and caraway seed.
Okay, has
Well-
onion. Have some gum afterwards,
Yeah,
you
right.
know? Just kidding.
No, it all smells
It does
absolutely
smell really
incredible.
That's a big German tradition in wine fest and beer fest.
Oh, so amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to check out Das Steinhaus for Inlanders Restaurant Week. $35, a great deal. You get a lot of these great options. It happens, it's going on through the 7th, I believe, right?
Yes, and
Through
it
the
got,
7th.
you know, comes with
And then
an
come visit
appetizer.
after.
Yeah. Comes as an appetizer and a dessert, yeah.
All right.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Imagine loving your hotel room so much you could buy everything in it. Coming up, the growing trend turning hotel stays into shopping experiences. Well, you might be planning spring break or maybe your summer plans. And the accommodation is a big part, of course, of any trip planning, unless you want to stay outside. I know, Nicole, you like to stay outside, though. But I do want to ask you, when you plan a trip, where do you like to stay?
Genuinely, most of the trips we plan within the country or staying in our car.
Okay.
Like, we do camping a lot.
Okay. But what about when you travel maybe to a place that's not like an outdoor location?
I think it depends.
Hotel, Airbnb?
Yeah, most of the time hotels. Airbnb is hard because you can't always find exactly what. What about you?
Yeah, I think for me, a hotel seems just very
Yeah.
safe. You know,
Mhm,
you just know
totally.
everything's going to be how you want it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a pretty interesting story because some people are actually turning to hotels not just for a hotel room stay, but also for maybe a department store type of experience. Take a look.
Hotel Anna and Bell in Philadelphia has all the comforts of a boutique hotel, and co-founder Gally Arbel says one space in particular is in high demand.
Up here? Yes, right up here.
Up the steps, she took us to a suite filled with something surprising.
All these items are from Anthropologie.
Yes, everything you see around you.
Everything from beds to books comes from Anthropologie Home.
From the carpet to the lighting fixtures to even the wallpaper.
That's floor to ceiling, even the signature scent.
It smells very good.
Thank you.
And it's all shoppable.
You end up liking it, you can scan the QR code, find that unique item on their website and purchase it.
Arbel approached the Philly-based retailer last year for the partnership. She's found Anthro fans now seek out this suite.
It's the only unit that Anthropologie has done in the hospitality space. You're not coming in here and we're pushing product on you, not at all. You're here to stay.
For brands, potential customers see goods in a personal way, and social posts of curated spaces spread far beyond one room. At Detroit's Shinola Hotel, guests use the Shinola speakers and can borrow a Shinola watch to wear during their stay. The fashion house Bulgari has its name and products at 9 hotels worldwide. Even Westin, which helped pioneer the concept, selling its heavenly beds, now offers dozens of products used in rooms. It is a stay, not a store.
So if somebody wants to take this home, can they buy it?
No, this stays with us.
But you can get the hotel experience delivered back home as more brands check in to a new kind of showroom. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Genius. I know in Vegas, pretty much most of the major hotels already do this.
And it's dangerous though. Like when I'm going on vacation, I'm not trying to spend more money.
But I know, it's like you are getting to use it and then you try it and they were like, wow, this is amazing. For me, like I stayed at the Wynn Hotel and I was like, I need these pillows.
Really?
And downstairs they sold the pillows, they sold
Genius.
the comforters,
Did you buy them?
the robes. I did not because I didn't have room.
Fair.
But they also told me that you could buy the mattress as you saw in the story.
That's
so
crazy.
Makes sense. You get to try it. Pretty cool.
I like it.
All right, that'll do it for us here on Up with KREM on this Sunday edition. Be sure to join us weekday mornings on KREM 2 and KSKN 22.